Recently, when that Quad summit took place, what was that about? It was between the foreign ministers of four countries: US, UK, US, India, Australia, and Japan.
Japan, yeah. So,
Marco Rubio was there in Washington.
Yeah.
So I never really understood what Quad is. Quad's purpose is. Like they are going out of their way in saying that its purpose is not security, right? It's not defense. It's mostly a cooperation in education, in critical minerals.
Yeah, but the complete name of that dialogue is Quadrilateral Security Dialogue.
It started with in the aftermath of tsunami.
Yeah, but it was benched after in 2008.
Because I think Kevin Rudd became the Prime Minister of Australia.
Yeah.
And Kevin Rudd was considered to be really close to China.
Yes.
He was a bit of a Sinophile, and he, I think, also was fluent in Mandarin and everything. Yeah. But after the successor of Kevin Rudd, I think the Quad gathered pace again.
Yeah, it started again in 2017 after in the first Trump administration.
Shinzo Abe was the big force.
Yeah, he was the one who was pushing it from behind.
He was pushing it, and it really gathered. I think Japan was really paranoid about its own security concerns. Its self-imposed pacifist situation after Second World War, and they had a very pacifist constitution.
Very pacifist, and the defense expenditure is also very low compared to their GDP.
That's why they don't call their aircraft carrier as aircraft carrier. They call it helicarriers, and they underplay their defense capabilities.
Even though they have the second largest aircraft carrier, number of aircraft carriers, they have I think 4 aircraft carriers.
They don't even call their forces armed forces. They call themselves defense forces. It's just for the purpose of defense.
They are deleting every point of offense from it. There is no offense only.
Shinzo Abe is definitely a big loss to Quad.
Yeah.
And he had a good equation with Modi also.
Yes.
So I never really understood why is Quad not calling itself basically a security organization clearly meant to balance China in Indo-Pacific.
I think it is because they don't want to
they don't want to unnecessarily spook China.
Yeah. That is the main thing.
That China may not start its counter.
Yes. Right. That's true.
What do you think is the future of Quad? Do you think it would ever become explicitly security driven?
I think it is a security driven dialogue. Most of the deals, if you notice, there is deals on logistics, cable, subsea cable, things like that, which are part of important critical defense infrastructure, things like that. So it is inherently a security dialogue, but they don't want to put it in the face.
Unnecessarily needle China. Because China now has, I think, the second biggest navy in the world.
Second.
And it's quickly...
I think it has the largest fleet of submarines. 80...
Except for aircraft carriers, they have largest everything.
Yes.
The quality, I don't know much about the quality, but they clearly have emphasizing on their numbers, increasing their numbers, and plus they are master builders, so they are able to build.
I read a report right now China will soon have the manufacturing capacity of creating a new J-20 in 8 days. That is the speed they can attain in aircraft manufacturing.
And that's the ethos of China. It's about building everything quick.
Yeah.
And doing it at such a huge scale.
The thing is, if you can build things so fast, right? Even if the quality is average or above average, it will still produce good results due to the sheer number.
Yeah, that's why some of our security experts say that building Tejas in huge numbers, even though it may not be as good as other fourth generation aircrafts, it's a quality in itself.
Yeah.
So what do you see happening next? Because it doesn't seem like Donald Trump is that much interested in Quad.
I don't think Trump is interested, but the deep state, the Pentagon, and if we should say the
They are
deep
pushing
state
it.
of US, that is interested in Quad.
And Marco Rubio also gives an impression of someone who I think is someone who's an old school politician. Like he knows how the long-term strategy of America is regarding
because
India.
Trump is only, he has only 3 more years, right?
Yes.
So,
He already in some ways feels like a lame duck president.
yeah.
He's not interested in anything other than getting a Nobel Peace Prize for himself
But
and
Peace Prize and getting his own investment, getting some money.
enriching himself. Enriching himself and sort of securing his legacy, shoring up
Like
his own.
for example, they're doing that crypto deal with Pakistan,
Yeah.
his own company, family company.
That also is something to look into. That what is his deal with Pakistan? He's suddenly gone very, very
Close to
soft on Pakistan, and
What do you think is the future of Quad?
I don't know. I think Quad, India is very chary of spooking China. It never really calls itself. It basically says that it's just a cooperation thing, and it's not security. It doesn't have a security paradigm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the future will also be determined by what is the stance of China vis-a-vis India. Does China remain hostile in the border?
So, do you think that do you think there's a possibility of amicable relation between India and China in future?
There is, I think, recently a thaw in the relation because they have sort of gone back to some earlier position in LAC. And they also are more interested in sort of having India as a very less dominant trading partner, where China is exporting, has a lot of trade surplus.
They value India as a big market for their
As a big
manufactured
market.
goods.
They're not interested in taking stuff that India makes. They're more interested in trade surplus because their entire economy is export-driven economy. So India is like a perfect market with a huge population, consumption story increasing. So that's why but China still wants to subjugate. Well, it still wants to dominate in the borders.
Yeah, it wants to be the big brother in the relation.
Like the whole Dalai Lama story and everything. I think we'll just tackle it at some other time. So that's what I think. I still have trouble understanding why would we just simply not say that yes, Quad is for providing security to all these Southeast,
Asian countries.
Indo-Pacific, Asia-Pacific, whatever you want to call it.
The South China Sea,
South China Sea, the littoral countries of South China Sea, and India, obviously being a peninsula, has a critical role in logistics.
Do you think they foresee a conflict with China?
100%. The deep state that you talked about, I think, definitely sees China as a future.
No, I'm saying a definite. There's going to be a conflict in future, like something of that sort.
Yes. I mean, it's interesting because at the time when Obama became president, there was talks that China and US will divide the world between themselves.
Yeah.
It would be a G2.
G2, yeah.
But it seems like China is not interested in G2. China believes that it has everything going for it. So
my hunch is I feel like the G2 is in motion. America wants to reindustrialize it, right? And China has most of the manufacturing in its country. So by pushing all these, countries around China to, kind of contain them, US wants to take advantage and reindustrialize itself in the meantime.
yes.
And then they would play enemies, but
Where they can cooperate, they will cooperate.
They will cooperate, yeah.
But I think the things are in motion to divide all the world between the two
parts, the Western and the East.
The trouble for China is India.
Yeah.
How would they keep on occupying
Even
China?
Japan, I think Japan will not submit to China. I don't think so.
Japan's problem is its falling birth rates. Its demography is very poor.
Yeah, but Japan has also increased its GDP in the defense sector.
They have spent. I think they have done the most increase
a lot,
as far as
like
as much as
very-
10% they have increased. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what happens.